Hello everyone, whether you're watching on your laptop or your phone. Welcome to the Leading in 5G webinar brought to you by C114 and Light Reading. I'm Jiang Junmu, Chief Reporter with C114. Robert with Light Reading will join me from London, with AR bridging the distance between us. Hi, Robert.
Hello, Mr. Jiang. Hello, I'm Robert Clark from Light Reading, and welcome to the Leading in 5G webinar series, a collaboration between Light Reading and C114. Today we have a fabulous lineup of expert speakers for you to share their deep knowledge of 5G. And in particular, we're going to do a deep dive into consumer 5G, how 5G affects and is going to serve the ordinary person. Now, as we know, 5G has got off to a flying start, and especially here in Asia. We've got advanced network rollouts, a huge variety of handsets, and really substantial subscriber take-up. For the telecom operators, the benefit of this has been they're already starting to very quickly shift customers to the new and more efficient network platform. But the telcos are still looking for those new and vibrant services that will excite the consumers and drive new business revenue. Today we're going to explore some of those services and opportunities with our panel.
Connectivity is now among the physiological needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just like clothing, food, and shelter. When your phones, laptops, or tablets cannot connect to the internet, or the loading takes too long, I bet many of you will be worried. A 5G network with wide coverage, high bandwidth, and low latency may eliminate such worries. 5G network rollout and application innovation have benefited more consumers. For carriers, 5G2C services also drive revenue and profit growth. The financial reports released by leading carriers in China and South Korea are the proof. And the business returns are even earlier than the market expectations. The rapid development of 5G has greatly changed our daily lives and demonstrated the irreplaceable social, economic, and livelihood values. In the context of social distancing, looking forward into the future, over the past 2 years of the commercial use, what are the valuable experience of leading carriers' 5G2C practices? How to break the bottlenecks? How to grow faster and better in the 5G era? These are the questions to answer. Today, we have a fabulous lineup of industry leaders to speak about and discuss 5G2C insights, innovations, and success stories. Thank you for staying tuned to explore together the bright future of 5G2C.
I agree with you. The 5G is off to a flying start, especially here in Asia. We've got substantial network rollouts, we've got huge variety of handsets, we've got really significant subscriber take-up. And this is all true, especially here in Asia. And so the benefit for telcos out of all of this is that they're already starting to shift customers to their new and more efficient network platform. But at the same time, the telcos are still looking for those vibrant new services that are going to drive consumer excitement and business revenue. And that's what I think we're going to be discussing with our panel here today.
Next, I will give the floor to the wonderful speakers from China and abroad. The first speaker is Madam Si Han, Head of Greater China of GSMA. Honorable guests, friends from the industry, and audience online, hello. I'm very glad to be here on behalf of GSMA in this 5G2C webinar, and to exchange with and learn from leading experts from the industry. 5G is gaining momentum globally. To date, 5G networks have been deployed commercially in all major regions worldwide. from MWC in February 2019 to the industry's reunion in MWC Barcelona in June this year. In more than 2 years, the number of 5G networks worldwide has increased from 3 to 165, covering more than 65 countries and regions, which is a huge leap. As of Q1 2021, China has had 285 million 5G connections, accounting for 82% of the world total. By the end of Q2, 5G penetration rates in China and South Korea exceeded 20%, accounting for 26% and 23% of the total mobile connections respectively. It's estimated that there will be 1.8 billion 5G connections worldwide by 2025, of which China will account for 50%. 5G2B is indeed crucial to 5G's success. Nonetheless, 5G2C is also instrumental to 5G's early success in China, mainly in 3 aspects. First, China's mobile carriers attach great importance to consumer 5G applications. They strive to increase 5G penetration and usage and gradually strengthen user loyalty. They launch a series of value-added services to actively seek new growth opportunities. China Mobile uses marketing channels to offer users more benefits, driving consumption and reducing user churn. China Telecom provides cloud VR, gaming, and Ultra HD video, enriching 5G offering. China Unicom's focus has shifted from user scale to service quality to create more value. Second, 5G smartphones are widely supported by device vendors. As of Q2 2021, among the phones launched by the top 20 vendors, 70% are 5G phones, which is a significant increase compared with the 39% a year ago. In 2021, 120 new models have been launched, and half are 5G phones. In recent quarters, the average price of 5G smartphones has fallen sharply. Now, by H1 2021, it's less than $500 or 3,200 Chinese yuan. This is because the Chinese vendors like Huawei, Xiaomi, and Oppo have launched affordable 5G phones at prices as low as $150 or 1,000 yuan. The rapid emergence of 5G smartphones and the drop in prices have driven a faster upgrade to 5G in the mass market. As in previous years, many companies released their latest products and platforms at MWC 2021 in Barcelona, most of which are 5G-related products and devices. Third, and very importantly, consumers are enthusiastic and demanding 5G services. Smartphone users who have upgraded to 5G tend to consume digital content more on mobile devices. According to GSMA's Consumer in Focus survey, in the 20 major markets surveyed, in mobile gaming, music streaming, and online video, the proportions of 5G users is higher than those of 4G users, which are 55% to 42%, 70% to 56%, and 71% to 67% respectively. The gaming service has a great future. In South Korea, 41% of 5G users play games every day, and more than 40% of them pay for games. Similar to music and video streaming, the game subscription model is on the rise, providing new opportunities for carriers. Cloud gaming is a key consumer use case of 5G. Globally, each month, around 2 billion people play games. Nearly 90% are just casual gamers on smartphones, who have spent little or no money on gaming. But now the subscription-based cloud gaming is on the rise. Some well-known cloud gaming services are run by tech giants with cloud businesses, have recently invested heavily in mobile gaming. Carriers around the world are increasingly considering opportunities in gaming. China Mobile, Deutsche Telekom, Orange, Telefonica, and Vodafone have all partnered with third-party companies to launch cloud gaming. Recently, A1 Telecom, Singtel, and EE have launched their own plans. In the future, VR may become a niche segment of the premium gaming market. These developments will make 5G more attractive to consumers as the technologies better meet the low latency and high bandwidth requirement for seamless gaming experiences. This also supports the conclusions of our consumer survey. Gamers, compared with average users, are more likely to upgrade to 5G. In addition, according to the 2020 GSMA Consumer Survey, 5G smartphone consumers in China spend more online than in any other countries and regions, with 74% making online purchases at least once a week, compared with 50% in South Korea, 46% in the United States, and 47% in Europe. China is the leader in contactless and mobile payment, with about 46% of smartphone users now using contactless payments at least once a week, compared with 30% in Japan and 20% in the US. A UnionPay study found that in 2020, 85% of users paid regularly using QR codes, an increase of 6% over 2019. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital financial services in China and the transition to a cashless society. The pandemic has accelerated the dramatic shift of consumers to a more digital-centric lifestyle. This is a key feature of the post-pandemic era and an important factor for 5G 2C's future success. Whether it's 2C or 2B, as an emerging enabling technology, 5G will empower various industries and advance the evolution of society and the economy. Representing the common interests of global mobile carriers, in the extensive ecosystem, GSMA connects more than 750 carriers and more than 400 players, including handset, software and equipment vendors, internet companies, and industry organizations. GSMA will work with global partners to innovate. This year, we will launch 5G In, the 5G Innovation and Investment Group, to promote 5G 2C and 2B applications. We look forward to working with you to collaborate and grow together, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Sihan, for your speech. Her insights provide guidance for customizing 5G development strategy and benefiting from 5G as soon as possible. She said that as an emerging enabling technology, 5G will advance the evolution of society and the economy. Next, we'll have Mr. Ma Hongbin, General Manager of Technology Innovation of China Unicom. His topic is 5G powers consumer and industrial internet. Welcome. Hello. Today, my topic is 5G powers consumer and industrial internet. This year is the first year of China's 14th five-year plan. Additional to the National Plan of New Infrastructure, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology has issued a 3-year Innovative Development Action Plan and a 5G Application Set Sail Action Plan. China is entering a strategic period of digital economy development. Digital economy reshapes our life and drives social development. The aggregation of key production information, extensive new cyberspace, and enabling efficient and intelligent applications, the whole society will be transformed. In 2018, the digital economy made up 34.8% of China's total GDP. By 2025, it's estimated that 50% of the world's economy will be generated by digital economy. The Chinese government is making every effort to build the new digital infrastructure. 5G, cloud computing, AI, big data, blockchain, and many other technologies will support the infrastructure and drive digital economy transformation. The digital economy transformation will change our society in three aspects, namely new governance, improving social governance capabilities, new production, promoting industry transformation and upgrade, and new experience, making our life much better. As a carrier, China Unicom showed us the important mission of digitization. Carriers are the next generation information infrastructure builders, vertical industries enabler, business model visionaries, and ecosystem building drivers. As a 5G builder, China Unicom has co-constructed and shared the world's largest 5G network, providing optimal 5G user experience. The number of 5G base stations by the end of July has reached 478,000, and the number of users has exceeded 100 million. China Unicom and China Telecom together won the GSMA 2021 Award of Outstanding Contribution to the Asia mobile industry. As an enabler of the 5G industry, China Unicom has a shared vision to aggregate advantageous resources in the industry ecosystem and lead the rapid development of 5G applications. We have 5 goals to lead in 5 areas. We will build more than 200 5G demonstration projects, build more than 50 5G open labs, incubate more than 100 innovative 5G application products, formulate more than 20 5G application standards, and aggregate more than 1,000 members to form one industry alliance. With the 5 goals, we seek 6 enablements of 5G. They are network and platform enablement, product incubation enablement, venture capital enablement, business innovation enablement, marketing resources enablement, and service support enablement. We are a devoted entrant of the industry. We focus on more than 10 key industries, including new media, industrial internet, smart transportation, smart healthcare, smart education, smart tourism, smart energy, public security, ubiquitous low altitude, and smart sports. 5G brings large bandwidth, high reliability, and low latency. As a carrier for consumer services, we first launched better audiovisual consumer experience supported by large bandwidth, including AR, VR, HD videos up to 4K and 8K, and live event streaming. These are made possible by our upgrade from 4G to 5G. 5G also brings upgrades to the industry, including the industrial internet, video industry, and immersive teaching. 5G brings industry transformation. China Unicom has worked with BUPT to implement 5G plus 4K live classroom, 5G holographic teaching, and smart classroom and collaboration on Academia Historica. We are able to promote education equity to a new level. Additional to changing our consumption experience, 5G has also brought improvement in social governance. In Xiong'an, 5G and drones can monitor the water area and ecological conservation of Baiyangdian. 5G drives industrial internet upgrade. We collaborate with COMAC, roll out 5G in Yangjiang, and work with State Grid Hebei on electric power project. The network layout is more intelligent with lower cost and better effect. 5G enables the smart upgrade of the transportation and logistics industry. In Daxing Airport and Qingdao Port, we have implemented smart travel services and smart logistics scheduling. Beijing will host the Winter Olympics. 5G will make the Beijing Winter Games in February 2022 safer, more digital, smarter, greener, and more high-tech. We achieve 5G plus 8K live streaming, 5G plus cloud video, immersive VR, smart stadium, mobile healthcare, logistics distribution, robot referee, counter-terrorism and security protection, and more smart applications. The development of 5G is more than network construction. It requires contribution from the ecosystem. 5G will empower various industries, so the development of 5G cannot happen without contributions and collaborations from the industries. China Unicom's 10 billion yuan 5G Innovation Fund focuses on developing 5G industry, driving industry ecosystem, stimulating innovation, building new business models, and completing relevant systems. 5G development is dynamic, not static. Earlier, I mentioned the many advantages of 5G, which improves social governance capabilities, upgrades the industries, and enables multi-layer immersive consumption experience. In the next 5 years, 5G will continue to iterate and upgrade. Apart from large bandwidth, low latency, and massive connections, 5G will have better uplink capacity, latency protection, and HCS. The next generation 5G network will evolve in 6 aspects. For future industrial internet, 5G will play a greater role. On the existing basis, in the next 5 years, we will build broader, deeper, and more capable 5G networks to enable further development of the industrial internet. Digital economy has a bright future. Let's join hands to create a better tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ma, for your wonderful speech. As the head of China Unicom's technology innovation, he shared from multiple aspects on stimulating innovation and driving market development. It's very inspiring for the industry. For the first time in history, 5G network and device developments are synchronous, thanks to the efforts of handset vendors. Next, we'll have Mr. Wang Hengjiang, Deputy General Manager of China Mobile Device Company. He will talk about 5G device development. Thank you for the introduction. Hello everyone, I'm Wang Hengjiang from China Mobile. My topic is opportunities and challenges in 5G device development. First, I'd like to show you the wide adoption of 5G devices over the past 2 years. The commercialization of 4G started in 2009, and it took about 2 years for our 4G device sales volume to reach 10 million. In 2019, China issued the commercial license for 5G. Now, also 2 years later, in 2021, the number of 5G devices sold worldwide is estimated to exceed 500 million. By comparison, we see that the development of 5G devices is much faster than that of 4G. What is driving this rapid development? In China, the 5G device sales volume this year will reach 360 million, accounting for 80% of the global total. In addition, 960,000 base stations are built in China, accounting for more than 70% of the global total. In the 5G era, China's network construction and device development have really driven 5G's end-to-end commercial success. Meanwhile, 5G device development also has great opportunities. China's 5G network construction has basically achieved good coverage as of 2021. Cities, counties, and some key towns are within China Mobile's coverage. The 700 MHz wide area coverage further enhances our network coverage. As for innovative services, I mentioned earlier cloud gaming, cloud offices, etc. And our XR services, such as VR and AR, have accumulated experience in the past years and are arriving at the tipping point for scale adoption. With the help of some luck, the businesses will develop well in the next couple of years. Third, the wide adoption of 5G devices over the past 2 years has laid the foundation for service experience upgrade. Many Internet basic services require a certain user base size before they can be upgraded. In the past 2 years, China Mobile has connected 200 million devices in its network. Among them, users who access Internet services via 5G devices should have exceeded 100 million. These 100 million users are the foundation of upgrading our traditional services, such as live streaming and video playback. As the foundation is in place, the upgrade of Internet services will drive further development of 5G devices. Next, I would like to share the upgrades in 5G device development. There are 3 upgrades. The first one is the intelligent upgrade. Recently, we hear a lot about 5G plus AI. It is true that 5G is a basic connection technology that guarantees the communication between the cloud, edge, and device. With wider bandwidth, the data can flow more freely among clouds, edges, and devices. Behind AI is the computing power. Thanks to the guaranteed 5G communications, such computing power can be orchestrated flexibly among clouds, edges, and devices. We can schedule the computing power based on service attributes. For example, in big data, when we need to aggregate more data, we can allocate more computing power on the cloud. For latency-sensitive cloud games, we can allocate more computing power on the edge. In scenarios with high privacy requirements, such as AI photo shooting, we can allocate more computing power on the device side. In this way, 5G enables free scheduling of computing power among the cloud, edge, and device, laying the foundation for future intelligent upgrade of devices. More on the intelligent upgrade, our devices have evolved. The touch screens are an interface between people and machines. They become multimodal and more like the human sensory system. Apart from vision, there is speech. I can control a speaker on my phone. My motions can be recognized. The brain-computer interface can be used to operate devices. In this regard, we see great prospect in multimodality. Another trend is anthropomorphism. An object can be given a personality for more natural communication. For example, when you talk to a speaker, it feels like you are talking to a person. You can have natural interact with it. Many IoT devices can communicate in this way. The human-like interaction with machines can greatly improve our experience. The second upgrade is product upgrade. Over the past few years, we have noticed that the most important devices are smartphones. The essential basis for mobile internet development was the wide adoption of smartphones. We notice a great change in the last 2 to 3 years. Apart from the phone, a user in different scenarios may use other devices. When exercising, I wear a smartwatch. At home, I often use a TV. In the kitchen, I cook with the help of a smart speaker. Products like these, together with the phone, build multiple scenarios with different needs. This happens on the consumer internet, but it also drives a shift of our focus from consumer internet to industry internet. Evolving from connectivity only, after sensors collect the data, a lot of industry data is aggregated to the cloud. And then we are able to upgrade the industry internet. This is also a direction that China and carriers are looking at. The third upgrade is the industry upgrade. Based on what we have seen in the past few years, the device industry is on the edge of a profound upgrade. In a Tesla car, 1,700 pieces of chips are needed. The cost of semiconductor parts here is $1,500. This is beyond the imagination of the traditional automotive industry. There's a drastic increase in the demand of semiconductor. As for manufacturing, in 2020, our global pen device shipment was about 4 billion units. It's estimated that the number may reach 11 billion in 2024. China has many mobile phone manufacturers. 7 to 8 years ago, their annual shipment could be about 2 million units. Now they can produce over 200 million devices every year. In China, in the smart device industry, both the chip manufacturing and operating system are about to experience a thorough upgrade. With that said, what should China Mobile do for China's device industry? I have 4 points. First, as a carrier, network deployment is always our top priority. We have built nearly 500,000 base stations, accounting for over 36% of the world's total. We have 200 million device connections. Our network has covered all the cities. As I mentioned earlier, cloudification is a foundation for the future. We have built the largest network cloud in the country to make our network more intelligent and promote AI accessibility. Our network is scenario-specific. Network slicing, edge computing, and other capabilities are introduced so that in service-oriented scenarios, the network can play a greater role. The second point is service driving. Traditional communication services such as SMS are upgraded to rich media 5G messaging. The traditional ringtone is upgraded to 5G video ringback tone. Many other traditional services are upgrading rapidly, for example, live streaming, video playback, and large screen 4K. These services will drive 5G development. We also promote innovative services. China Mobile is building the world's largest edge network. We introduce cloud gaming and more high-quality content, hoping to provide more featured services to drive industry development. Third, investment enablement. Now, innovation is not just about one enterprise or one industry. Many innovations are across multiple enterprises and industries. We want to connect more enterprises through the link of capital. As a carrier, China Mobile hopes to leverage mergers and acquisitions, equity participation, and venture capital to grow together with more enterprises and jointly promote innovation and development. The last point is device industry promotion. Let's start with demand driving. At the beginning of this year, we identified the demand of adding 200 million new mobile phones in China Mobile's network. We have just made the world's largest procurement of 5G modules of 320,000 pieces. As for technology collaboration, we seek to work with more partners for joint R&D. We hope that with 5G industry devices, there can be more low-cost solutions for the industry, using these solutions to enable the industry. We have some device-oriented plans as well. For the XR industry, unified interface standards between hardware and software are needed. We're taking the lead in technical work like this. Furthermore, in the device industry, China Mobile has established the 5G Pioneer Industry Alliance, which now has 100-plus partners. We have initiated the Set Sail 5G Industry Device Plan. Currently, there are 20 types of devices and 50 industry applications. So that was a brief introduction to China Mobile's difficulties in 5G device development and the challenges we face. But I see more opportunities. 5G devices are becoming more intelligent with more directions. I mentioned some of our efforts in industry promotion as well. The device industry chain is very long with many sectors. Every person and every enterprise in this industry should adopt a more open mindset so that we can jointly collaborate and share to promote 5G device development. Thank you, and that's all from me. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wang, for your excellent sharing. He walked us through the 3 challenges and opportunities of 5G devices, presented the trend of intelligent product and industry upgrades, and China Mobile's 5G device development strategy. Through opening, prosperity, collaboration, and sharing, 5G devices and the whole 5G industry are bound to be more prosperous. The next speaker is Mr. Li Ling, Vice President of Technical Service BG of Migu Culture and Technology. His topic is Technological Innovation and Practice in Migu 5G2C Applications. Hello everyone, I'm Li Lin from China Mobile Migu. I'm here to share some 5G innovation practices as well as our thoughts. In recent years, China Mobile, including Migu, has made some innovations and attempts in 5G2C applications, which were implemented and applied on the live network. In the Olympic Games not long ago, we implemented several new technologies, such as multi-screen viewing, where multiple live signals were mixed during the transmission and could be viewed on the same screen. Another example was the interactive cloud VIP seat. Based on 5G's high concurrency and low latency, providing the user experience at home similar to watching the games in a VIP seat. There was the rapid information push, such as the fast production and distribution of short videos. It used to take several minutes or more than 10 minutes to edit and distribute short videos, but the time needed could be shortened to less than 20 seconds. This brought new and better experience to Olympics audience. Based on 5G, some supportive technologies such as AI also brought changes to audio and video production. AI technology was used for frame interpolation, making the video playback smoother. AI special effects were applied. AI horizontal to vertical rotation could rapidly adjust the video and make it more comfortable to view on mobile phones. AI subtitles was very useful in audio and video production as well, which is supported by the 5G network. Next, this is a world's first application of the technology. An actor was performing on the stage, and the image could be projected to a large screen through the camera just like a movie, so that audience were able to view the performance just like watching a movie in the cinema. 5G's high bandwidth, fast speed, and low latency provided very good experience. Last year, we tried some new applications of 5G. On Mount Chumolungma, we used 5G for VR live streaming at an altitude of over 6,000 meters. The live streaming lasted for 72 hours. Another case is the video ringback tone, which is closely related to the carrier's business. Leveraging China Mobile's communication channels, when a user makes a phone call, during the dialing, they see a short video. We have been developing it for quite a few years. China Mobile is the world's first to launch it and improved the capacity from a mini-size video to a full portrait view video with higher definition, providing users with better experience. 2 years ago, in 2019, during the National Day, we did HTML5 multi-channel live streaming, which was also the world's first. On an HTML5 page, we achieved multi-channel 4K live streaming on 5G with high definition and smooth streaming. It was a new experience for users and the service ranked top in terms of daily views. As for video and audio innovation, we upgraded the traditional 16-bit music streaming to 24-bit with a higher bandwidth. This could provide better sound quality and 3D surrounding effect, which ran over the 5G network. Since 2018, we have been promoting the applications across China. We did the first 4K live streaming of many sports events, including CBA, CVL, and CSL. It was the industry's first 5G plus 4K sports event live streaming. Over the past few years, we have tried quite a few 2C applications. In retrospect, we understood and concluded that 5G applications, particularly 2C applications, could be categorized as internal applications and external applications. Internal 5G 2C applications combine 5G's features, fast rate and low latency. In terms of the rates, there are two types, uplink and downlink rates. If the rate is higher than 50 megabytes per second, 5G's advantage will be obvious. 5G's feature helps us implement special applications. For example, for 4K or 8K live streaming, the signal collection and uplink transmission can be fully supported by 5G. Earlier, I mentioned the 5G live filming, which is a good example. As for the downlink, the rate can be higher than 100 megabytes per second, which is almost impossible for 4G. 5G is perfect for some applications here, such as multi-channel Ultra HD live streaming with high concurrency and VR movies. This year, we enhanced many movies with VR and repaired some old movies. To enjoy these movies, the downlink rate must be high, especially when many VR videos are 8K or even higher, such as VR gaming and VR variety show live streaming. The immersive user experience requires a higher downlink rate. 5G is more suitable here. Regarding latency, when the network latency is less than 10 milliseconds, which is quite an extreme case, 5G shows more obvious benefits. With 5G edge computing nodes, services such as cloud gaming, especially interactive cloud games, which have strict low latency requirements, will benefit. For interactive live streaming, such as the Cloud VIP seat service, and where online audience want to interact with the video, low latency is also required. Moving on from internal to external applications, in addition to 5G's intrinsic capabilities, external applications also leverage other technologies such as AI for better video processing and rendering, and use 5G to better distribute and present the content. We call this intelligent production, where AI is rapidly used in audio and video production. Earlier, I mentioned intelligent editing, horizontal to vertical rotation, AI frame interpolation, AI subtitles, and AI special effects. These have been fully demonstrated at the Summer Olympic Games. The tens of thousands of short videos produced were distributed in various media channels with a large amount of viewing and excellent experience. People's Daily also used the AI technology to add special effects to short Olympics videos for more publicity. The application of People's Daily was a good example. Cloud rendering requires better 5G performance, as rendering requires higher computing power and also faster transmission. For example, free view here means multiple cameras are used to shoot at the same time with a 360-degree view of a performance or a scene. Here, to process multiple video streams, it has higher time and performance requirements. Holographic performance was used for our show last year, where we invited stars to record their performance in advance in holographic form. During the event, even though they were not actually present, the interaction between the audience and the virtual images was very nice. Another example is AR application, such as the AR stage and AR idol. This requires higher rendering performance, which requires 5G to properly function. What's more, intelligent operations such as personalized recommendations, customized search, better intelligent search, and fast content push are all excellent external 5G applications. The last one is 5G-based distribution. Apart from the intrinsic application features, 5G can support some special extensive applications. I mentioned earlier the video ringback tone, 5G messaging, and 5G integrated media, where audio and video are combined for richer content display. To sum up, there are internal and external 5G applications. More importantly, to leverage the features, there must be scenarios. Combined with the scenarios, the application must also have very good content, with quality content and operations supported by technology. In other words, we are able to combine scenario, content, operation, and technology to provide better user experience and leverage 5G's features. I want to use this case study to demonstrate the application of 5G. When the art performance was on, we could see the actors performing on the screen. There were 8 cameras shooting at the same time around the stage. The audience viewpoints were switching rapidly among the cameras, so the audience could see different angles of the actors. The projection on the large screen provided cinema-like experience. Many advanced technologies were used here. When shooting, the signals were rapidly sent to the directing vehicle, where real-time shot changes and color grading were made. Then the signal were projected rapidly to the large screen. In this process, 5G was able to reduce latency by 80%. The overall processing was also accelerated. There were challenges regarding sound quality and audio-visual synchronization, but we made a lot of attempts addressing the issues. The core was the 5G network with high speed and low latency, which was very stable, enabling the immersive user experience. This is our thoughts on 5G applications and some practices and attempts we have made. We look forward to discussing more with peers in the industry and collaborating more in the future. That's all for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Li. Migu is the industry's leading content and application platforms that has created many records in China and global market. Just now, Mr. Li has introduced how we can innovate services with 5G and how 5G's enhanced performance is contributing to the growth of live broadcast and other services. Now let's welcome Mr. Xu Chi, CEO and founder of Andreal. Andreal is the industry-leading MR firm. Let's welcome Mr. Xu Chi. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My topic today is into mixed reality, MR. Maybe you're not familiar with MR, but in movies, animations, you have seen it already. What we're doing today is to combine the physical world and digital world. Just like Tony Stark, in the future you will be able to see the information in front of your eyes. Today, technologies are already there, such as interaction technology and AI. What we need is to have a right device to access the experiences. We are working with partners and telecom operators to create applications. The actual adoption and applications are more diverse than our imagination. With a larger market, we look forward to bringing diverse MR experiences to consumers. Our product debuted in 2019, and since then we have won the many recognitions in around the world that encouraged us to further commercialize our products. Our products have won the many recognitions and awards in the global markets. We value our partnership with the top 10 telecom operators in the world. We are dedicated to bringing new MR experiences by combining 5G and MR. We have been through the era of PCs and smartphones, and the consumer devices are getting closer to people's lives. They make it easier for us to access internet. Then we believe that the smart glasses will be the next evolution of consumer devices. When we are actually in the era of MR, what will the experience be? Well, in the last 1.5 decades, we have been using fingers to interact with the internet on the smartphone screen. Now, with more information, We sometimes feel that the screen is no longer sufficient for us to access information. We need a better device that can combine the physical world and the digital world. And we know that people have different expectations for the future. We think that the future world should be called the spatial internet, and it can be adapted to the needs of different people. And on top of the concept of spatial internet, there will be a whole new ecosystem of content available. We estimate that by 2030, around the world, there will be over 1 billion smart glasses. Maybe you think that's too much, but remember, between 2007 to 2017, the world has shipped out 8.5 billion smartphones. So 10 years can be a really long time for technological revolution. Where we are today, we're just like where we were back in 2006, 07 in the smartphone market. So technologies are there, but the industry chain needs to be improved. We still need more skills and talents, and we want to encourage the growth of the market. Then what kind of growth do we need? What kind of factors should be in place to encourage the growth of the market? Usually, we need to expect the spiraling growth. Today, in the mobile internet, we are using fingers for interactions. 3G, 4G have encouraged the development of the mobile internet content ecosystem. Then maybe in 10 years, smart glasses will be mainstream consumer devices, and people will be happy to wear a pair of smart glasses all the time. Then, with the new consumer device, new interactions will be available, say gesture, vision, and voice interactions, and maybe the brain interface. In that world, perhaps 5G cannot deliver enough bandwidth. We need 5G plus experiences. What's more, the whole new ecosystem of content will also be there. Today, the first growing curve will be making the internet a spatial concept. That is to say that we are using smart glasses and the smartphone together to access the internet. And that's the logic behind our first product, Untitled Light. We want it to be portable, to be light, so that people can carry it everywhere, and they can be paired with our smartphone easily. And by doing that, the experience of a smartphone is upgraded to be three-dimensional, higher definition. What's more, the Untitled Light can be paired with the smartphone very easily. And after the pairing, we can then access the content of mobile internet, and you can use the smartphone to control your interaction with our device. The spatial video will also drive up the first growth curve. So when 5G is available, we have been wondering what content can increase the bandwidth consumption. We're happy to see that 5G can really be a powerful factor to drive the consumption of MR. For example, 5G can enable the consumption or the streaming of high-definition video, MR video, and 5G can enable 3D videos. Then when it comes to gaming, 5G and cloud gaming will make a game on our phone into a larger screen with higher definition. With a Bluetooth controller, you can play the game in a whole new different way. All these applications are already coming to our life. They are no longer just ideas or concepts. In last August, we were happy to be the first vendor that introduced the commercial applications on consumer smart glasses. That was a project we did with LGU Plus in South Korea. Then after that project, many more telecom operators around the world are entering partnerships with us, trying to commercialize the XR applications. We look forward to combining 5G and XR to more users. 3G encouraged the growth of smartphones, and 4G brought us the long and the short videos. Maybe in the 5G era, in the consumer market of 5G, MR will be a new experience introduced. We work with LGU Plus to commercialize the 5G plus XR. The subsidies, the preloading apps, and the release of the service on marketplace at market were done in the project. We're also working with Migu, the China Telecom, China Unicom as well, hoping that new experiences can also be introduced to Chinese consumers. We're also having the privilege to work with over 8,000 developers around the world who are innovating new services, applications on our platform. We hope that with new technologies, with technological evolutions, more applications of the spatial internet will be brought to our lives. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Xu Chi, for showing us the prospect of 5G plus MR. He has let us know their insights into new consumer devices. Let's look forward to the thriving development of 5G 2C applications. Again, thank you for the amazing speeches. Now let's turn the floor to Robert and listen to the insights of overseas speakers.
Thank you for that great presentation. And now I would like to bring on our first international speaker.
Yes, hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Reinert. I'm Chief Innovation Officer of Vodafone Germany, and therefore we're responsible in bringing innovation both to our customers, but also looking for innovation that's available for us to build products on. Looking at my portfolio, so to say, we are deeply engaged in everything connected to 5G, already with a perspective also on 6G, and which will come later on. We are also heavily focusing on everything around augmented reality, but we'll talk about that one later on as well. My team also takes responsibility in managing what we call connected mobility. So we are deeply engaged here in Vodafone Germany with the German automakers, as well as the tier one suppliers, in bringing on the one side everything that we currently bring to the living rooms or offices of our customers, so infotainment, entertainment and productivity, to the cars, to the trains, but also to the airplanes in the future. And on top of that, we are also looking into ways of making our lives on the streets more secure. So we are trying to connect everyone on the street because we have, as an operator, the bird's eye view. So what a car, a bike driver, or a lorry driver cannot see, we can actually see from a bird's eye perspective, warn the participants and try to make life more safe on the streets. So if we look back 2 years ago, and Vodafone Germany actually launched 5G in summer 2019. So we've been out around for the last 2 years. There were the three buzzwords connected to 5G. So we had the topic of super increased bandwidth. We had the topic of super low latency. And we had the topic of mobile edge computing and all the new possibilities that are now on hand with 5G. And so we went into our labs, we talked to our colleagues, what kind of solutions can we really bring to the market? Because as opposed of just building up antennas and propagating it as a new telecommunication standard that no one would understand, because why should someone then use 5G in difference to 4G or anything before that? We wanted to really create a story where we were highlighting a solution. And that's the reason why we then focused on various cases, both in the industrial background, but as well in augmented reality, where we saw all the three factors that I just mentioned come to life. So we found the way to the stadium in order to build something that takes all these three factors into consideration. High bandwidth available to a lot of people in a stadium-like environment, low latency to capture action immediately, and the mobile edge to immediately make the analytics compute and bring it back to the consumers. And that's where we thought, what kind of sport, what kind of action is out there to actually use that technology on? And that's where we found the soccer stadium, and where we try to actually augment the whole experience for our consumers. So in the past, and we have worked for quite a while with the Technical University of Dresden with Professor Fettweis, who's also one of the leading persons to make the standard 5G. His saying is always there is the even and the uneven technology. So so 1G, 3G, and now 5G more have an enterprise-centric approach where everyone gets used to those new kind of technology features and tries to find solutions, whereas the even numbers, 2G, 4G, and probably 6G, will go more into a consumer-centric approach. And I think we are now in the middle. So we have got the first installations of 5G deployed, mobile private networks in companies and on industrial premises, trying to make use of all those new factors of bandwidth, latency, etc. And now we are trying to also get a feeling how we can use that new technology in the consumer area. Especially when you're talking about sports, one of the features or one of the topics that you should never forget is licensing and rights holding. And you cannot actually, so what we did here and what I will later on explain in the stadium is something that's bound to the premise of the stadium without infringing any of the transmission rights that are actually done in that context. So augmented reality is real time, it's not transmitting, it's not capturing, it's just augmenting the action. And I think that's the difference, and that needs a live context, and that also is bound to the physical location of the stadium. I would have imagined also that the rights holders, and there are plenty of them if you talk about Formula One or if you talk about soccer or any other sports, could have used the time to actually bring side screen applications that would actually deliver such an experience, but it did not happen. But I've seen, at least with Deutsche Bundesliga, that there is now something that they are doing in this regard as well. So a side viewing, side screening application that you will be able to use at home as well. But that's just a different story from the angle we took. Speaking of fan experiences, we did something else. We brought another fan experience to the home, namely to the kitchen. We teamed up with a German celebrity chef and took the time during the pandemic to bring the action to where it was taking place, namely the kitchen, and how to prepare food, recipes, etc., based on augmented reality. It was the first approach where we were not using a smartphone and the see-through version, because that just doesn't make sense in a kitchen context. And by the way, and when I later explain the solution, it's also just the first step in the stadium context, because you don't want to have everyone sitting at the stadium and watching the game through a smartphone or through a tablet. There is a more natural way to actually do that, and that's actually glasses. And so we took Nreal. It's one of the lightest augmented reality glasses that are currently on the market. Those are tethered to a smartphone, and you just put the smartphone in your pocket, and via gaze control, you can actually control the whole action, and you can actually stay in the kitchen, look at the recipe, look at the ingredients, have a little avatar chef giving you tips, and just perform and do in the way that you would normally cook. And that's what we brought to the kitchen. It was actually launched on one specific handset. Now the range is being extended to several other smartphones, and that's how it's slowly taking up. So what we did is actually we thought, what can we do with bandwidth? What can we do with latency and MEC? And that's why we integrated a solution into Volkswagen Arena in Wolfsburg with VFL Wolfsburg, providing an augmented reality application that seeing through that smartphone would tell you how fast that player is, and also comparison on the fastest player on the field. So they are marked. So you watch them, and they are marked specifically with their speed. Then you can switch to the distance that they have run already in the game. You can actually see the potential passes. You can have shooting accuracy in percentage on them, and you can switch just from one player to another by tapping on the individual player on your smartphone, and then seeing the action. What you can also do when you actually enter the stadium is have a virtual lineup of giant avatars standing on the field that gives you information on each individual player. And so the solution itself consists of 16 cameras that Deutsche Bundesliga has installed on top of the regular broadcasting cameras. So those cameras normally are used for providing all the analytics features that someone would see after the game. So the post-game analytics that you would see after the game when TV stations are discussing the action and so on. These 16 cameras feed into a local system with artificial intelligence that's based on a mobile edge cloud that we have deployed to the stadium, and does real-time analytics on everything that's taking place on the soccer field. And then that information is being processed through our gateway and being fed back to the people that are watching the game in the stadium, having this real-time information. We've proven that it's working. We have first shown it on an Android smartphone. It will be extended to iOS shortly. And also as a exclusive preview, we have ported the application also to the Nreal glasses, and we'll be showing that one anytime soon. So there are three factors in that. It's so the coverage of the stadium, 5G coverage is something, there is base coverage for sure, but there is additional coverage that's being needed to facilitate such a case that's being monetizable. The second thing is the installation of a mobile edge cloud environment on site, which does not only make use for our application, but that could also be used for various other use cases that club might have in the stadium. And the third one is a licensing case that we are offering to the clubs to include our SDK or the full-scale application into their fan engagement work. So they can either just include it in the fan app that they are already having, or they can have an exclusive 5G-enabled spectator app. They can give it for free. They can charge it as a premium. So for us, it's a B2B2C case that we're facilitating here. As said in the beginning, we were not looking to actually talk about technology when we launched 5G. We wanted to show solutions. Mm-hmm. There is always one in the market who tells you, I have most antennas out there, I have the biggest coverage, I have the highest bandwidth and the lowest latency. But as a consumer or as a fan, what does it give to me? It tells you nothing. So you really have to show the use case, and that's, I think, what we did, and also show people how much more fun they can have when using such a solution. And I think we were proven right. In CES 2020, we got the award for the best AR sports project and worldwide. And the solution was actually closely watched from all over the world because of really an engaging solution. And if you look further, it's not only a solution for the fan, it could also be a tool of work for anyone reporting about the game. Because if you look at the journalist watching a game, he could do much better having all the information that we additionally provide now during the game without leaving focus on the playground. Because now, if you look up statistics, you need to look at another monitor or at the tablet or whatever. But having it all in front of your eyes, it's just a different experience. I was actually in Japan in the labs of a very big player in terms of telecommunication. And they showed us what augmented reality can already do. It was more or less shown in what I always call a digital opera glass. It was a smartphone with a special case that had a little stick on it, and you could just use it as your opera glass. And I thought, how could I actually transfer that idea to the German market? Because that case, what was shown there, was shown on basketball, which is not the most prominent sport here in Germany. But then contacting Deutsche Bundesliga and also a club that was interested in bringing innovation to the stadium, which was the VfL Wolfsburg, made up the story, and that's why we initially launched. And in a few weeks, the whole solution will be taken from MVP status that it was currently in and paused during the pandemic to the full commercial solution, and it will be deployed in another stadium with a very prominent German club. I can still show you, and I don't know whether in the live context we should show one or two slides. This is something that Nikolai you should decide on. But just for the both of you to just see how it works, because it's also a different story of seeing it or just hearing about it. I can just show you this little video.
Enjoy a whole new era of in-stadium experiences. Imagine the best of both worlds. All the facts and stats from a TV broadcast, plus the excitement of actually being there. 5G will transform the way we enjoy live action events forever, presenting a faster, more reliable way of sending vast quantities of information. Thanks to augmented reality and 5G technology by Vodafone, you'll be able to get a deeper understanding about your favorite teams and players, while the action takes place right in front of your eyes. How fast is that player running? What are the odds of scoring against this team? All of those insights and more will be instantly available through our app. Just point your smartphone to the field. Let's go 5G.
Thank you for that great presentation. And now I would like to bring on an international speaker.
Hello, nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Salman. I'm head of network platforms in Telefonica. So I'm not a product or marketing guy, but I lead a lot of the developments and platform deployments we need for the 5G use cases we run in Telefonica. So today in the presentation, I'm going to go through firstly what is the current status of the 5G use cases, what we are doing right now in terms of product. Then I will describe what are the key capabilities of 5G in order to enhance 5G services. I will open then the door to new opportunities in the B2C space. And I will conclude on the presentation. So I think to choose to talk about B2C is quite a tough topic because we have been living out of mobile broadband in B2C for the last decade. So in 5G, really B2B is really stealing the show right now. So everybody knows the 7 verticals that segment the industry, and 5G is going to be a big revolution in these areas in order to help the digitalization of the industry and improve productivity. So everybody knows the 7 verticals, from automotive to safety, energy, manufacturing, etc. So actually in Telefonica, we are grouping them in what we call Industry 4.0, and we started to define products associated to that. But we need to be part as an operator to this transformation, to this revolution in the industry with 5G, but also we must not forget that a big chunk of our revenues are coming from B2C. So we need to be consistent in keeping these revenues, in improving and growing in that space. So in order to understand what we can do in B2C, I propose first we kind of review what are the key capability of the 5G network. Capability is a bit beyond the access, beyond the bandwidth improvements, the latency improvements. So there's a lot going on in the platform, in the core network. And some of these capabilities are, for example, the fact that the core network is API based. So you can pretty much expose anything going on in the network to third parties, like developers or enterprises. So you can expose slicing capability, you can expose access to edge capability, you can expose COM services or network services from controlling the boundaries, controlling the quality, accessing network information. So second big change in terms of platform is that the 5G platforms are cloud native. So what does it mean in terms of capability for products that you can deploy these platforms anywhere in the network in a cloud native environment? Can be anywhere in the network, can be in public cloud, can be also on customer premises, which drive enhancement in terms of enterprise product for private networks. This means we can really fast deployment for enterprises who want to have their core instances, they want to have their private platform and access. And at last, that's the less mature piece, I think, but the 5G core network is supposed to be multi-access fixed mobile. So it's going to be the true, at last, the true converged core networks that we have been working for lots of years to offer same capabilities in fixed and mobile access. So a big enhancement in terms of technology is edge. Okay, so it's not part of the 5G architecture per se, but it's a big enabler that we are deploying. I think most of the tier 1 operators. So the main objective of that is to distribute your loads, to bring your application closer to the access, reaching very low latency, improving computing, reducing power consumption. But in Telefonica, additionally to that, we're doing a lot of work for the edge to not be only a distribution of the loads. We believe that if we bring the right capability to the edge, again, it's opening the door to a lot of monetization in B2B and B2C. This means applying mobile network principles to it. So ensuring that the edge works in a roaming, national and international roaming environment, ensuring that we can interconnect domains and platforms between each other. So to have kind of universal service and multi-operator service, and also bring some intelligence to it. So for example, being able to do an edge allocation to the closest point of the user location or terminal location or user profile. So all these enhancement stuff, we are working in the industry with the GSMA and vendors and other operators. Then we have network slicing, which is another big topic in 5G, a big expectation on being able to build new services on top of it. Network slicing, what is it really? Again, it's building a dedicated instance and a dedicated configuration of the network for a specific use case or a specific customer need. So it's really tailoring the user experience based on the need of the use case. So it onboard all the different segments of the network, from access to core to transport. And I will say that the technology is not really mature yet, but we expect to see first deployment of this kind of technology in 2022. If we move to the next slide, and we see here the key use cases we We have been working in Telefonica and enablers associated to it. So when you look at these verticals, they are verticals, but you clearly understand that there are three big technology enablers that are transversal to them. And those are computer vision, so able to do like video processing in order to enhance applications, AR, VR, XR. Okay, so for example, for remote maintenance and this kind of workforce enabling capability, and then AGVs, drone control, and unmanned control. So like controlling automation of any type of robots. These, let's say, transversal capabilities have a vertical common point, which is a very high usage of artificial intelligence in order to process all the information that are issues from these technologies and enhance the service. So the big question is, can we reuse this transversal capability for B2C? I mean, this is coming from the B2B world, started in the industry area, and the big question is, what will be the impact of these technologies in B2C? But anyway, I mean, how we learn all this is doing a lot of trials and testing products, building products, bringing them to the network. So in Telefonica, we made an interesting move because we are collaborating with MobileEdgeX, and we have deployed edge nodes in our major markets, so in Spain, Germany, and Brazil. And basically, we use it as a, let's say, 5G use case launcher. So once we have onboarded a use case, we can deploy it quickly in other domains, in other countries, other operations. And actually, we have aligned this key capability with other operators like Dutch Telecom. And using the same technology, we can export use cases from one country to the other, and also from one operation to the other. So here you have some example of the use cases we have done. So we have done like a augmented reality gaming use case with Dutch Telecom. We have connected players from Spain with players from Germany, and we have interconnected the edge between each other, ensuring quality of service. We have done drone orchestration with British Telecom. So we have shown that a B2B customer can deploy his tool set in the same fashion in Spain, and in UK. We have done other trial with Dutch Telecom in Germany between our Telefonica network and the DT network there for V2X in collaboration with the 5G AA. In Brazil, we have done standalone trials for augmented reality industrial maintenance, and then also in Spain, we did the first step into immersive entertainment with the creation of 360 content. So this is just a sample, but we have done many use cases. And really, when you test all these things, you start seeing, how you can apply this computer vision, AR, VR, XR, and AGVS, drone and control to the B2C area. So it can be applied to media again, B2C, but V2X capability, but in B2C segment, immersive comms, and then gaming, entertainment. So it has also a lot of impact to this kind of, let's say, verticals in the B2C area. One of the most exciting projects we are doing is immersive comms project. We are doing this again through the GSMA and in collaboration with Team and Dutch Telecom. Again, we leverage MobileEdgeX as a common edge platform, and we deploy on top of it double me twin worlds capabilities. So it's an interesting company and interesting use case. We have run we have collaborated with them to do a trial in a shopping mall in Barcelona, and then you can see how AR can enhance the shopping experience. But what is really interesting as well is they have this capability to do holographic communication in the immersive world. So you can have like an hologram representing you. So they have very, let's say, straightforward mechanism to do the hologram production with a simple camera. And then you can really see that's really the future of your communication. That's the enhancement of what is a video communication today. So in this kind of immersive comms, you have really endless opportunities in advertising, in communication, in content creation. So it's very exciting area. So when you think about that, okay, we understand the enablers we can use to go to 5G and create new use cases. And in B2B, I mean, it's straightforward. We have already product based on this, and it's quite successful, and it's growing a lot. But when you think about B2C, the challenge is going to be the massive adoption of it. So we believe we are going to move to this gigabit per second content era. I mean, if you apply really computer vision to cars, can go to up to 1 gigabit per second of throughput. If you apply it to immersive comms and content creation enhancement in immersive entertainment, you can go up to 40 gigabit per live event. Immersive comms is like 10 times in terms of capacity what we need for video today. So we are going to go to a moment where you're going to stretch our network, and then this means that this is going to push really all this stuff to the edge, because we will have to enhance and our traffic management. And this means also that to monetize all these efforts, you need to have a pretty good third-party, let's say, API gateway exposing all these capabilities to be able to monetize them. So at last, I mean, to conclude a bit, I think B2B has been really useful. It's true there's a lot of focus right now on it, but it's really creating all these enabling capabilities for B2C, especially in the field of computer vision, unmanned machine control, and AR/VR. And from our point of view, for all the use cases we are started to do in B2C, I think that immersive comms, immersive entertainment, and V2X are really the most exciting one, and they can open the door to endless opportunities. Massive adoption of it is going to be a challenge in our network. I mean, capacity and connectivity is going to grow again a lot, and we'll have to handle it. This means edge network slicing is going to be key mechanism for that, and also we need to be able to monetize this mechanism and have this API gateway open to enterprises, open to developers in order to monetize further network capability. So that's a bit presentation for today.
Thank you all for the amazing speeches. Now we will go into the panel discussion. Welcome back. Now, Robert and I will be the moderators for the panel discussion. First, let's start with Chinese speakers. China's 5G deployment is now leading in the world. Then, my question is, what are the elements, in your opinion, that will intrigue the consumers to adopt the 5G? Should it be new user equipment, new content, or any other new factors that we didn't have in the past? Maybe Mr. Ma, you can take the question first. Okay, thank you. If we would like to encourage the adoption of 5G among consumers, well, we know that consumers have demographics. Different types of consumers have different expectations and requirements for 5G network. Perhaps we should first take a look at the expectations and requirements of consumers. Younger users, they have different preferences for services. So in my opinion, for 5G to take off, we first need to identify the new services, new functions, or new content that have fundamentally different experiences from that in the 3G and 4G era. And the second point is to offer better performance, better experience with 5G. Specifically, gaming. If I'm playing a game on 5G while the other player is using 3G network, then I can enjoy an advantage in the game. That's about the content. And definitely consumer device has a role to play. People or consumers, some are eager to buy new consumer devices. Whenever there's a new model, they are eager to get it, to enjoy the new functions. But some do not. So a differentiating experience should be the key here. Thank you. Mr. Wang, what do you think? Thank you for your question. Telecom operators have deployed 5G networks. We all say that 4G is transforming people's lives while 5G the society. So when we talk about 5G, we tend to focus on 5G 2B, but today we're talking about 5G 2C. 3 telecom operators in China have deployed the 5G commercial networks, and they have been up and running for 2 years. However, today, 5G user experience is not significantly different from that of 4G. That's the status quo. In the telecom industry, we're feeling the anxiety because we cannot identify the killer app on 5G. That's the kind of anxiety that we should really be objective about. Let's have a recap on the 4G journey. We do not have the 5G killer app today, but maybe it's because the network and UE became mature before the content ecosystem. In 2009, Telenor was the first to commercialize TD-LTE, but in 2010 and 2011, by then we saw the emergence of 4G smartphones. Also, telecom operators in China began to deploy 4G networks in 2014 and 2015. We had the DD carpooling app, and 2016-17 short video became popular. Today, Chinese telecom operators already deployed a large number of base stations, and there are many 5G UEs available. So network and user equipment of 5G become ready earlier than the content and the services. So content and services have developed slower than expected. That's the first point. And the second point is, I agree with Mr. Ma. We must be able to provide consumers with the experiences on 5G that are fundamentally different from that of 4G. Only so can consumers see and understand the value of 5G. And to do that, there are many elements we need to take into considerations. So back in 2015, we had the DD, the carpooling app. China Mobile had the TDMA network. Then we need to provide a relatively fast speed and certain the precisions of the location service. Only so can people use the DD carpooling app. Later in 2017, the short video became very popular. And that's not just because of the network, but because of the national initiative to reduce the tariff. With lower price of data, consumers started to use data to see the short video in outdoor environment. So these are all the elements contributed to the maturity of the services. So maybe only when all these elements become once again mature can we see the killer app of 5G. We may be able to find a new experience first, but we will have to wait for all the other elements to come together. Mr. Li, what's your take? Thank you. I agree with the two speakers. We must be able to provide a significantly different or better experience on 5G. Also, that's a process that takes time, and they can only be perceived by consumers in different scenarios. And when the scenarios are ready, consumers should also be happy to adopt this technology. We can promote the use cases and applications, but sometimes we also need to count on users to find the new services, the new demands. In telecom industry, 5G is deployed, and we are trying out pilots to see if the perceptions of consumers can be improved and new services can be validated. What's more, say in the audio or filming areas, 5G can deliver the real-time live streaming experience. These are also the trials we are doing today, but whether these services or applications can be widely adopted or recognized by consumers, it's something we need to work together. And Mr. Xu Chi, thank you. From 3G to 4G, consumer devices didn't change much, but with larger bandwidth, people could enjoy videos. So in 3G, connections became easier, and in 4G, the bandwidth became larger. User experience became different. So online shopping could be done with live streaming. Education was also the same. So that's the kind of experience 3G could not support. In that times, consumer devices became more mature before the maturity of the infrastructure. Later in today 5G era, UE is lagging behind the infrastructure. We feel that the smartphone today has stopped to evolve, but actually we are seeing the foldable screen. The larger screen might be able to allow consumer to consume more data, but that is not enough. We need new types of consumer devices that will introduce new experience, new interactions. Say the smart glasses. With even lower latency in the future, maybe computing can be done on the cloud. New consumer devices only need to support display and interaction. That's a possibility. And new consumer device will generate an ecosystem of new content, or the same content today can bring upgraded experience on the new consumer devices. After consumer used such type of new devices, the ecosystem of 5G will continue to mature. Thank you. To intrigue or to encourage the adoption of 5G is a complicated question. As you said, China's 5G rollout is now leading in the world. To encourage consumers' adoption of 5G, we need to have three elements in place. That is the quality network, quality service, and quality consumer device. Chinese telecom operators are deploying networks that provide a great penetration, coverage, and utilization. 5G's user stickiness and the utilization are now seeing the best performance in China. GSMA has done a survey on the 5G network speed, services, value, and coverage. And 2/3 of the 5G users are happy about 5G experience. That's a survey done in around the world, and I believe that China's network are achieving the same performance. China's 5G network is doing really well. Just now, we said that consumer device is a key factor. So the innovation of the consumer device is something we must have. Say drone, AR, VR glasses, they are new types of devices. With more new types of devices, consumers are happier to adopt 5G. Another point is because of the pandemic, smart home-related, healthcare-related services are gaining great traction among consumers. In 3G, 4G era, We have accumulated some experience of service development. In the world and China, during 3G, 4G era, we saw the emergence of locally relevant services. And consumers were very happy to adopt the technologies because they wanted to use that services. And that same idea is also applicable and relevant to 5G era. So it's really about multiple different factors having a role to play. We cannot expect consumers to use 3G, 4G era services with 5G. The piece of good news is that based on our survey in the GSMA, we see that Chinese consumers are very active in adopting new technologies, including 5G. With 5G continuing developing in China, I believe that we can expect a new momentum here in the market. Thank you all. Now we can turn the floor to Robert.
It's been a fascinating discussion. I'm interested in how you measure 5G performance, especially network performance. Do you benchmark it against international metrics? And if so, do you have some numbers you can share with us?
Thank you, Robert, for your question. In China, 5G rollout started early, and the scale of the network is really large. 5G networks in China today are carrying many 2B, 2C services. Our 5G networks are available in both NSA and SA mall architecture. So China's 5G networks is leading in the world. The percentage of 5G consumer devices, the percentage of 5G packages are also leading. By July this year, there are over 30% of users in the networks are using 5G. That's a really large share. This is the share that it's already exceeded the estimation made by the GSMA for 2025. That's about the service deployment. About quality of the network, 3 telecom operators in China have deployed 5G network for over 2 years, and in total we have constructed nearly 1 million base stations, providing coverage to towns and cities. 5G networks are also delivering great performance. Regarding the metrics of 5G networks, we have 5. That's the metrics for the RAN, the wireless, including the signal strength, the connection, the connectivity. Another metric is the camping ratio, downlink speed, uplink speed are also the KPIs we are using. The network latency is another KPI. These are the 5 metrics we are using in China and around the world to evaluate the quality of networks. And there are 2 different ways for us to get the results or the readings of the KPIs. First method is the drive testing, and another one is to use the network management system to get the readings of the KPIs. The 3 telecom operators in China have gained great results in the readings under the 5 KPIs. All KPIs will get A, B, C, 3 levels of ranking. So the coverage, the uplink, downlink speed, the latency, among other KPIs. While among all these KPIs, telecom operators in China have achieved level A rating in terms of performance. In other words, our networks have large scale, and our larger scale network can also deliver better performance. Let me take downlink speed as an example. China Unicom and Telecom are sharing and constructing some of the networks together. By doing that, we can extend the coverage. And by sharing the infrastructure, we can reduce the network construction investments. And by doing that, we can further reduce the energy consumption and carbon dioxide emission. Based on the testing, the downlink speed can be as fast as 500 to 600 Mbps. In terms of the uplink, we can maintain the speed higher than 150 Mbps. This is the result that we are very proud of. So in terms of the scale of the network, the amount of data, we are doing really well. And what's more, our quality, the network quality, is also leading in the world. The autonomous driving of network, or to say the intelligent O&M of networks, are also the domain we are doing really well. In the future, we will continue to explore possibilities, say network slicing, SA's architecture enabling 2B services, and 5G advanced implementation, that is to enable the time-sensitive applications enabled by the SA architecture. These are the future explorations we will make. So 5G development in China is now on the fast track, and I believe that China's 5G deployment will encourage the global 5G deployment to be on a healthy track. Let's wait and see. Thank you.
Describe some of the actions operators have taken to enable and encourage new 5G apps. For example, building your own, setting up partnerships, establishing subsidiaries. What are some of the steps you've taken?
Okay, perhaps I can take Robert's question first. There are several points I would like to make. Telecom operators need to construct the network and operate the networks of 5G properly. That's our job. We have deployed 500,000 base stations. In 5G, computing is more intensive. This is why we have also deployed a large cloud resources pool, and we are also deploying edge networks. Computing of 5G occurs in not just the edge, but it also relies on the slicing technology. That's something we're introducing today. To sum up, in 5G, we need to build and operate the infrastructure properly. That's our job. And the second point I would like to say is that to encourage more to see services, we are developing 5G videos, cloud gaming, and other services by ourselves. And Mr. Lee may also elaborate later. Then the third point is our partnership with device makers. In the past, our relationship with device maker was to provide them with channels of distributions and the subsidies so that we can encourage the sales of devices. But in 5G, we need to create different types of cooperations with them. That is to say, today consumer devices of 5G still face some bottlenecks in terms of the ecosystem. Say, Mr. Xu Chi with Andrio working on an XR, they are facing the fragmented standards problem. That causes a large headache. For example, a VR content created by Facebook can only run on Facebook's platform. And smartphone makers in China will also manufacture or create contents that only run on their devices. Then we, telecom operator, bear the responsibility to coordinate the cooperation between the content creator and the platform creator. Maybe we can provide them with SDKs. We don't want to monetize the SDK, but we want to build the SDK to make the applications available on different types of devices. We are making investments and develop the SDKs with the UE makers and the content makers, hoping that we can encourage the thriving development of the ecosystem. Then the fourth thing we are doing today is to encourage the investments in the industry. 3 telecom operators have foundations and investment firms. China Mobile has also set up specialized funds for service development, and these investments are being made into 2B and 2C services. We hope that we can also encourage the ecosystem of the investors. With that ecosystem in place, the development of industry can be further encouraged. That's all I would like to share. Maybe I can also share something. In the 5G era, telecom operators still need to work on many things regarding the infrastructure development. China Mobile is trying to increase the bandwidth to 160 Mbps, Unicom 200 Mbps, and in 10 years they would like to make it 300 Mbps. When deploying networks and or conducting testings on networks, we found that the performance of the networks might be different on different consumer devices. That's something we need to work on and optimize. For example, that might be caused by the different understanding of vendors on the specifications. Then that's something telecom operators can play a coordinative role in. Then the second thing we need to talk about is about the success of 5G. The success of 5G is not just about the scale of the network. Instead, it's more about the adoption and implementation of 2B and 2C services. That's the reason that we are deploying 5G networks. 5G can upgrade the consumer internet and enable the industrial internet. Then these two things require telecom operators to build the ecosystem. Then we provide the stage for verticals and industries to show their performance on the stage. Because they have the know-hows, the people with know-hows need to work with us. That's the people providing platform. Only so can we create the right momentum to make sure networks can satisfy the demands of verticals. Telecom operators in China have built the world-class networks and have incubated hundreds, if not thousands, benchmark enterprises and applications in the mining, logistic, healthcare industries. We can do that because we work with the enterprises and the verticals, so as to align our know-how, skills, specifications. Specification is really the key. We need to align the telecom specification and the industrial standard. In this way, we can ensure networks can communicate with each other and data is securely protected. Private network, edge computing, slicing, storage, these are the domains we need to enable enterprises. Private network and slicing, as Mr. Wang has mentioned, these are the domains that we're working with the enterprises and partners to develop, because we need to make sure the networks can satisfy the services and the KPIs required by enterprises, being the latency or bandwidth. So these are the two things I would like to mention. Great. Maybe I can also talk about my 2 cents. Migu is under China Mobile Group. We're quite special in the industry because we're actually a OTT service provider of a telecom operator. Our corporate strategy is to build the highway of information and operate the high-speed railway of information. Well, the first slogan of the strategy is about the infrastructure development, just as Mr. Wang and Mr. Ma have mentioned. That Migu plays a bigger role in the operations of the high-speed railway of information. We are providing some applications, such as applications of cloud gaming, and we are also providing AR/VR services. These are the domains that are yet to be mature, but we are making explorations. What's more, we are trying to explore the possibilities of video ring backbone. Then apart from operations, we cannot neglect the quality content. Today, we are generating more quality content. They are not necessarily developed or created by us. Instead, we work with partners. Not long ago, we had the Olympic Games. The live streaming of the games and the short videos of the games, they were created together with our partners. I actually downloaded Migu just to watch the opening ceremony. Thank you. And another thing we're doing is to rely on the industry alliances. China Mobile is working with partners to develop the industrial alliance of 5G high-definition video, video ring backbone, and other industrial alliances. We're also a member of other industrial alliances, so we can have continuous discussions and pilots with partners. And another point is about standards. This is something every party needs to contribute to. Specification is where a telecom operator's strong suit is, and the right specification lays the foundation for the network deployment, for the service development. Apart from 3GPP specification, we are also working on the W3C standards and ITU standards. What we hope is to enlarge the ecosystem, enlarge the community, so we can all contribute to the telecom industry. So it's really about partnership. Over the last 1 to 2 years, GSMA has been focusing on the 5G service exploration. We have set up over 20 working groups working on different technologies. Some of them are on standards and specification. Maybe I can elaborate with some examples. One is the innovation in the 5G to B. In 2020 and 2021, GSMA Greater China Region has released the report on how 5G has enabled the 2B services, and there are total 21 this year. Then in 2C domain, most of the services in the report are on the are on media. Feel free to access the report on our official website. And 5G is combined with cloud, say Cloud XR. We're working with global telecom operators and ecosystem partners to make in-depth explorations. Mr. Xu Zhi with Enreal is with us today, so perhaps he can add something. 5G and cloud gaming can reduce the price of gaming and improve the penetration. The low latency and large bandwidth of 5G can improve the frame rate of XR services, making 4K, 8K possible to consumers. So, Cloud XR can be used for not just games, but also for smart home, healthcare, education, industry, manufacturing, etc. Then along the way, we need to avoid the problem of fragmentations. This is where telecom operators come in. They can coordinate different parties, making sure the services can be available on different vendors' offerings. Another point is the 5G message in China, but 5G message is known as RCS in global market. RCS is already defined in standards. The new Android smartphones in the overseas market have all supported RCS, and in China, we're seeing that increasing adoption as well. Then about innovation, when we look back in the 3G, 4G era, we see that it's still very important for 5G to embrace innovation and ecosystem. Back in 2019, the GSMA Greater China region was the first to set up the 5G INS innovation and investment platform for 5G, hoping to aggregate the resources in industry, especially the resources from the thought leaders, the investors, etc. Then we can use that platform to encourage the investments in the IoT, cloud, etc. Today, we are trying to commercialize the projects. Just now you asked if we have set up subsidiaries or firms. We haven't done that yet, but the 5G IN has already signed a contract with Shenzhen to see if we can set up an innovation center. If that can work, that will be the very first application innovation center set up under the 5G IN program.
Okay, now a question about AR, VR, and video. What's been the commercial progress of AR, VR, and are there any innovative video services for mobile consumers in China? And also, I mean, are there any new business models that Chinese operators have brought to the market?
Maybe I can be the first one to take the question. AR and VR will definitely be a key domain of 5G service. China Telecom as a telecom operator, China Mobile as a telecom operator is now making huge efforts on encouraging the development of AR and VR, but it takes time. Today, we are exploring the scenarios or the use cases of AR and VR. For example, in VR, we are introducing VR IMAX movie, or we can use VR for e-sport. VR can also be used for the concert live streaming or other performance live streaming. This is the new experience to consumers. Then AR has more diverse applications because AR allows us to set up a virtual avatar or virtual stage. Last year, we tried to have the holographic concert and performance with AR technology. That's a promising domain of application as well. In the future, we hope to look for more use cases of AR and VR and enable greater interactions. There are some factors we need to take into consideration. Metaverse has become a buzzword in both China and the world. So these are new things we can also take into consideration. Then apart from use cases, we also need to find out the higher adoption of users. And we also need to have more affordable consumer devices. So these are the things that must come together. And this is something we are encouraging. I can also express my opinion. We always are looking for the killer apps of 5G to see. I think XR will definitely be one of the killer apps. Then XR has many use cases with larger bandwidth, lower latency, higher definition video, interaction video, or the broadcast of sports games will be possible and have greater experience on existing consumer devices. Then cloud gaming and other time-sensitive use cases can also expect better performance with 5G this year. We think China has the potential to be the pioneer of XR innovation because we already have the large-scale 5G network in place. When XR, AR, VR, hardware, and content are there, there will be new ideas and use cases coming to the market. Then with the large-scale 5G network in place, China has the potential to find the right business model so that when an innovation or innovative idea comes to the market, it can be quickly commercialized and find the right model. In the 4G era, the US vendors were leading in the market, but later we saw the emergence of Chinese vendors. And today we already have the infrastructure ahead of the others. Perhaps when hardware is mature, we can quickly see the thriving development of 5G XR in China. Thriving development indeed. Okay, briefly explain, well, we know that 5G networks have better performance and users are happier to use 5G. Then with higher ARPU, we can consider 5G to be successful. Then today, we also need to consider the reduction of the energy consumption per bit. That's how we can ensure the sustainable development. That's another factor of 5G success. 5G is different from its predecessors. 5G era is also a new era where we need to evaluate success as connected impact. That is to say, 5G to C, for it to be successful, it needs to have a thriving ecosystem. 5G needs to be able to combine with other technologies, for example, blockchain, big data, AI, and cloud. By combining these technologies, more services and applications will be in place to unleash the full potential of 5G. So success might have different definitions, but I think connected impact is definitely a key criteria for us to evaluate the development of 5G. Thank you for Robert's question, and I have one more question. In your opinion, the telecom operators or the telecom industry, what are the keys to 5G to see success? Could you please sum up in one sentence? Okay, let me start. In one sentence, I'll say industry collaboration to bring innovative experience in affordable way. Then for me, it will be 5G innovative devices bringing in innovative services. The collaboration of cloud pipeline, UEs, edge, and services to deliver the to diverse, flexible requirements. Scenario, content, application, and technology are the 4 key elements for 5G success. Thank you. Thank you all for your amazing insights.
Well, this is a question for our friends from the international telecom operators. What is it? What are the conditions that operators and their partners need in order to achieve success in consumer 5G? And also, what is it that they need to focus on? What are the problems they need to focus on in 5G, especially when compared to 4G services?
I think the exercise we are kind of doing is first is kind of trying to align the platforms. So it's what we are doing. We have this collaboration with Mobile and we are using the same enablers across domains. So, and then we have been doing a lot of work in the GSMA. The name of the program was the OPG, and in there we have like defined the specification on what should be the interfaces to interconnect the edge between each other. What are the east-west interconnectivity interface? What should the northbound look like? And now we are discussing a bit internally how to move to building the APIs associated to that. Okay, meanwhile, we are proving the concept, we are proving the utility of it. And the idea of the trials also is to understand, the customer benefits, both from the developers and the end user. Okay.
Here's another question for an international telecom operator. What are the biggest bottlenecks in 5G consumer services? What are the challenges you need to overcome?
So I think it's key. I mean, it's key, and I think I guess us and a lot of operators, we have a good mechanism because when we started the 5G journey, we understood that B2C was a kind of a space we needed to understand, and we created this innovation project together with our incubator, with Weira, and we have been working, identifying a lot of startups and new technologies. So it's key because there's plenty of new companies deploying these B2C applications, these contents, and you need to understand, where they are, what value they have, and help them to grow. So I think we have done a very good job with our incubator on that, and a lot of the use cases I have explained, they come from this incubator. So partnering firstly with a technology partner is key, and then after when you think about B2B, for example, right now, which is where we start commercializing some use cases. I mean, after you have the go-to-market that has to be thought about, and you have your own go-to-market, but obviously very strong partners can also bring customers, so it's a kind of dual gain there. So partnering right now is key because it's a transformation, it's a new step for everybody, so we need to help each other. For us, it's building the network, and then you have people thinking about what they can do with it, and you need to work with them.
Is 5G all about the killer experience rather than the killer app? Is the key to 5G about bringing the killer experience to individual users across multiple aspects in multiple apps, rather than just finding a single killer app? What do you think?
So the B2B, as we said, we already have products, and actually products started with 4G, because the way it works is that we started to sell private networks for a couple of years now, and with 4G before 5G came. And when you do private networks on premises, the latency is really good, the bandwidth is really good because you don't share anything, right? So this kind of use case can start working at some level with 4G. So we have already product based on that. What is really successful is remote maintenance with augmented reality is quite a successful product. And then in terms of drone control, yes, there are already products around that, and we are looking at many fields of application. Can be like stock management, can be security, can be safety. So we can have this common platform for all these use cases, and the use cases can be adapted based on the verticals. But yeah, we have already product defined for this, and product under test with customers. yeah, I mean, it's not productized yet, but it's something that it didn't. It took us, I think, around 4 to 5 months to set up, so it's not excessive. So I think, again, you can obviously do online gaming without Edge and without 5G, but the differentiation is really coming. You can introduce augmented reality in the game. You can guarantee a perfect user experience when people are playing from different regions. So yeah, it's kind of building on top of the online gaming and bringing the technology capabilities that will enhance the gaming experience.
So 5G has been commercialized for 2 years. It is still at the beginning stage of its development. 5G's value only starts to emerge. Then for the future, what are the benefits can 5G bring to consumers and society? Could you please let us know what you think?
I think it's going to take a bit of a while for everything to come together, but it's quite impressive at the speed the technology is coming. So I think a couple of years of maturity maybe is required, but I think really we can see that this is going to be a game changer. I think the disruption in terms of technology is quite big. So that we are working on it. We are testing different options, but I think it is quite still sometimes before reaching maturity and being productized. So I think what we saw from immersive comms is clearly going to be a game changer also in the hardware and devices. So glasses, AR, VR glasses is a key component of that, and the cost of it is also an important thing, and the weight of the device, look and feel is really important as well. So I think additionally to change our way of communicating, I think it's going to be a game changer also in the hardware space. So you have seen the press release with Ray-Ban on Facebook. So all this stuff is starting to come. So it's quite an exciting time again to see this innovation.
Then regarding 5G 2C, what will the size of the market be? And if we want to enlarge the market to bring 5G to every individual, then as a consumer, what's your plan and targets to achieve that?
I think B2C is, as I described in the presentation, is coming now in terms of definition. We are leveraging all what has been learned in B2B. In terms of demand, I think the content management, the immersive experience is quite starting. We have done a lot of collaboration with the media industry for that, and for example, we have this prototype for video music immersive experience, and we are collaborating with Yerba Buena, which is a company here in Spain. So yeah, we start seeing the product, but the kind of sales is a bit behind B2B. Okay. But yes, products are coming, and as I highlighted, the interesting piece is that at the end of the day, the leverage to create this new product for 5G is more or less the same in the two space. We don't need to wait. What I'm just saying is that when you will have a massive adoption of it, it's a bit like Facebook, in 4G. I mean, I remember when Facebook started, it was like a normal internet usage. Then at one moment, I think Facebook was like counting like 50% of your mobile traffic. Right. It's a bit the same. It's when people start adopting massively something and making a massive usage of it is where you see this big shift. So I'm just saying that right now, even with the 5G launch, the traffic is growing at the normal pace, like in 4G. It's not like this disruption yet in traffic growth. But I think when these kind of new use cases are going to be adopted massively is where we are going to see again a shift in traffic growth and connectivity growth. I mean, so we are following basically our 5G roadmap. So we have an SA available in our main market. We are moving to 5G SA, which is another step of investments. And then we are exploring network slicing capability. So all this pipe, let's say plumbery we need for having good use cases, what we are continuously investing on. So as part of our 3 years plan, strategic plan, all this stuff is included, and we test maturity, and when maturity is there, we work in deploying the capability in the network to enhance the product. So yeah, so we plenty of investment for sure, and it's 5G is a key part of our strategic plan. So we do what we need for, for having the right level of incomes and customers.
So the last question, I would also like our overseas speaker to sum up 5G to C success key element in just one sentence. Thank you.
Yeah, as I said, in terms of B2B, there's a lot of them in computer vision and remote maintenance. That's the ones that are coming now and that are already defined and available for commercial use. In B2C, I think video content announcement may be what will be ready first, because the technology is maybe more mature than the rest. What I have explained on gaming is also a very important use case.
Again, I would like to say a thank you to all the speakers today. They are with operators, industry organization, content and application provider, and device manufacturers. They have shown us their insights from different perspectives. And according to the diffusion innovation theory of Rogers, a new innovation can only sustained to diffuse with early adopters. And early adopters usually account for 10 to 20% of the total population. Now, more countries have already reached the milestone. It's fair to say that 5G's development is now on a fast track. 5G has also transformed the habits and behavior of consumers. VR, AR are about to get more popular. Innovation knows no boundary. Any assumption for the 5G's future might be too conservative. As Peter Drucker, the management consultant, once said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. So we definitely look forward to a closer collaboration of all the parties along the industry chain, so we can welcome more 5G services, applications, and use cases. And we believe that every individual, every enterprise has the potential to be the 5G leader in the future.
That has been quite a journey through the state of 5G today. We've caught some glimpses of the future here. We've seen how operators are already taking advantage of their strengths and unique capabilities of 5G to build new and innovative apps that in some cases meet demand, and in other cases help grow and create new consumer demand. And we've also seen how they continue expanding these app portfolios at a rapid rate. Just as important, we're seeing how operators are upgrading, expanding their collaborations with partners across the industry. Thank you.